Hello. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Donna and Cheryl TV.
Tremendous Tuesday.
Tremendous Tuesday. And yeah, feeling good. It's raining outside. We do not care. Cheryl and I are very excited because we're going for a walk soon. But yeah, Donna and Cheryl TV, keeping it real with you here on this drizzly day, bringing some sunshine, talking about can't get my words out, bounce back ability. Bounce back ability. I just love the word. I think next to abundance is one of my favorite words, Cheryl.
Yes. And we started to talk about mental resilience yesterday. So we started off this subject and we were talking about mental resilience is about how you come back from your setbacks, but it's good to have setbacks because then you learn to build your resilience. And yes, today we made this word up, but I think the word is out there, but we like to claim it out as our word.
We do. We should have trademarked it. Other people are using it. Hey, yes, guys.
But I think it's after we've used it. So this is really around, yes, it's good to go through setbacks, but it's about how quick you can bounce back makes all of the difference. So we'll love this one.
And this is really all, this week is all about permission to be you. But we know that some of the things that get in the way of that are around mental resilience, are around taking the knocks sometimes and not knowing how to come back from them. So we really want to include it this week because we're so afraid of getting stuff wrong. We're so afraid of it not going quite right. We're so afraid of having the funk, and like the funk is normal. Having the funks, having the lows, having the roller coaster isn't just like this, otherwise it'd be boring. Life is like this. And this is about really how we embrace that and go with it and lean into it rather than fearing it so much that we try and stay vanilla, which stops us then being ourselves. So this is a real big one today. So I really want you to sit up, take some notes, tune into what your aha moments are going to be, because this, the good stuff lives in this session.
Absolutely. And like Donna and I, probably is more me, I think Donna developed the skill to be able to deal with things properly. Like bouncing back doesn't mean that you just wake up the next day when you've had something happen to you, a setback, and go, all right, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm just getting on with things.
I'm over it.
Just powering through. But, build a bridge, over it. Like that isn't what we mean by bounce back ability, but this is what I did for many, many, many years. Powered through, got shit done, built a bridge, got the fuck over it. I was just like, I've got rhinoceros skin, like everything bounces off us. Like literally, this was the language that I used with myself as I was just powering through setbacks and, building my resilience levels. But what I then realized was actually because I wasn't processing this stuff and releasing it, it was all just stored. It was in a big sack, wasn't it? It was like this big sack metaphor that I was carrying on me back. So I was always one for looking forward. I don't look back. I always look forward. I take steps forward. I'm always on the move. But actually I was lugging the whole sack full of the mound that I'd swept under the carpet. It wasn't just a carpet. It was a big mound. And I was lugging it forward on me back. So I was moving forward. I was dealing with it. I was getting over it. But I had all of this unprocessed shit, basically, that I was lugging forward with us, which I wasn't aware of. That isn't bouncing back. You can't bounce back with a great big heavy sack attached to your shoulder.
But this is the interesting thing, and I really want you to hear this, guys, that when people ask us how you create mental resilience, I think this is what we think it's going to be. Like, how do I not feel it? How does it not touch me? How do I not? That's bullshit. Like, unless you're actually dead, that crap doesn't happen. It's really about feeling it. So as Cheryl just said, she would kind of just chuck it in the sack, keep carrying it and just keep going on and powering through. But because of what I went through with my whole breakdown when I was 18 years old, 19 years old, it wasn't like a conscious thing. I just realized that I had to process things. So I actually thought I was quite weak for a long time because I would get very upset. I would spend days really thinking about something and processing it. And Cheryl knows, believe it or not, as much as I'm a gobshite, I'm actually quite an internal processor, aren't I, Cheryl?
Yeah.
very much will keep it to myself. You'll know something's up because I go quite quiet, but I'll be going over it and thinking about it and being quite quiet because that's what I need to process things. And then when I'm ready, I'm happy to talk about it. I'm not saying that's the perfect way of doing it. There's lots of ways of doing it, but it wasn't an option for me. I kind of went the other way. I went from keeping everything like Cheryl did, like a pressure cooker when I was 19, 20, and it really then blew up. I had this massive kind of, real breakdown from my mental health. So after that, it was about learning how to process it. And that was how I learned how to process and how to deal with it, by really feeling it and experience it and working out what I wanted to do with it. And then I'm okay and I'm over it. And generally speaking, when I get to that point, I am over it. and I don't have to carry it around anymore like Cheryl was doing for years. But Cheryl genuinely thought, it's just carrying it around, that she'd left it in the past. And then realized, had that epiphany of, it's all coming with me. It's weighing me down. It's slowing me down. It isn't gone. We just kept building bridges and getting over stuff. But actually, it was all here.
Yeah. And Claire makes a point, the sack gets heavy and it takes a while for your back to recover. Yes, actually, because we do what we do, once I had the realization that was what I was doing, I could very quickly do an exercise with Donna and it was gone. So actually, the bounce back ability that I thought I had was very different to the one I've got now.
Yeah.
But actually, once I had this realization that there was a sack there, we did an exercise. Donna did an NLP exercise on us, and I got rid of it. So it actually was just gone like that. So it doesn't have to take a while to recover.
You just have to know how.
You just have to know how.
I mean, years, like best part of 40 years carrying it with her, and I think we got rid of it in 40 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wendy's just saying she had a wonderful vision of you scurrying around a giant carpet, right, scooping up all the unprocessed stuff off a giant shit sack. Think I processed, but now that you've said that.
We're very similar, Wendy.
Yeah, masculine energy.
Very similar traits. So
when
actually,
you spend time in a lot of masculine energy, the answer is probably that you haven't dealt with it, you've cast it aside.
Yeah.
So definitely worth checking in on that one.
Yeah. We're keen to know for whoever else is tuned in today, like, where do you feel like, what areas of your life, now that we're talking about this, Wendy's just having a little aha moment. How are you sweeping things under the carpet? Are you telling yourself that you've dealt with it? Are you saying things to you like self, like you just have to get over it, you just have to move on, power through, move forward, whatever that language is. And actually, now we're talking about this, you may be sweeping it under the carpet and not processing and not feeling the feelings.
Feel the
feels.
I mean, it's amazing, even with us, right, Cheryl? Like, how many women, if they get upset, or men, because it happens, get upset, and the first words out of the mouth, I'm sorry. I don't know where it's come from. It's like, it's a really normal reaction to cry about stuff that's been hurt, or like, it's normal to be hurt. It's normal to experience feelings of hurt, of rejection. What isn't healthy is to keep carrying that with you because you don't get around to dealing with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and well, we say this, when I used to cry, it would like come from, it was like it was so buried down in me body, in me stomach, it used to like come up through and just like spurt out. And I generally, I didn't know where it had come from, because it was just buried so far below, because I just had, everything was just all below the surface, and I just carried on. I would always get emotional while somebody else would cry, like empathetic. It's always like that. But when it came to myself, very rarely, because it was just buried so low, it just used to come like this wave that would just come up and out. It doesn't now. I can just have a nice, still a fugly cry, but a nice little.
It's not as fugly as it was on that day.
It doesn't have to just come up, but it was every time I cried, it would just be, I didn't know where it come from, because I just buried the feeling so deep.
Well, what's really interesting as well is when you think about, we don't like being uncomfortable. We don't like feeling the uncomfortable feelings. We like feeling the happy feelings and the drunk feelings and all the like feeling good feelings. But we don't associate feeling good with feelings of hurt, feelings of discomfort, feelings of like growing pains. But actually, they're the feelings that we need to feel too. Because if you're trying to ignore all the, I don't like the label, but like negative feelings or bad feelings or hurtful feelings, how are you ever then going to really feel the joyful feelings? Because you haven't got the contrast. You have to feel the rainbow of emotions because that's the life experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Lee is just saying, I like to think I'm over it, but I hang on to them. I've been kept awake many times thinking about something insignificant that happened years ago. Yes, because it's triggering something in you that you haven't yet processed.
And when you feel that, like I invite all of you, when something just keeps coming up, just stop and just breathe and just say, what is this trying to teach me? Why is this coming up? What is unresolved about this? How can I find peace with this? And it might be writing a letter to someone that you don't give them. It might be saying a prayer and sending it off to the universe, thanking it for letting it go. You know, whatever it is, like find a way to make peace with it.
Absolutely. Claire's just saying she hates when you hear people say, don't cry, there's no tears left. It's cry until there's no tears left. It's healthy and normal. Yeah.
And I have to tell, even Neil will do that. You know, like if Caleb gets upset, the first thing Neil do is say, shh, come on, don't cry. And I'm like, like let him get it out. Like, especially kids, like they need to. And if any of you, you know, are ever in our Soul Sister, you know, become a Soul Sister, or you're in any of our coaching programs like The Real You, what you'll observe is that when someone gets upset like that, Cheryl and I literally sit and we just give them the silence and the space, and we ask everybody just to let them be, because sometimes that's the only time they felt safe. And of course they apologize because it's what we do. I'm sorry, I don't want to get upset. But it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, allow it, allow the feelings, give them space.
Just chopping off our heads for a moment while we're cheering myself up and going back smiling. For years I did that. I didn't process anything, having fun, partying, blocking out feelings with coping mechanisms. Still work in progress. 4 out of 10. Thank you for being honest.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you. So yeah, what's your bounce back ability score? Now that we've reframed mental resilience for you to mean feeling stuff instead of ignoring it and sweeping it under a dirty big Persian rug, what is your bounce back ability score, and what would take you up just 1 point?
And this, you know, and this is really linked in about being yourself, because we put this pressure on ourselves to have to be the person who bounces back, who powers through, who's a role model, who's a leader, who's whatever it is. We don't just give ourselves the time and space to just sit in it. Like sit in, it's not the shit. It's sit and feel the feels. And, you know, that is about giving yourself permission to feel your feelings. It's okay to have feelings. It isn't weak. I used to say that. If I cry, it's a sign of weakness. That's what I used to tell myself. It isn't. It's a sign of bravery, vulnerability, like strength. Like literally feel the feelings is you allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to just be you. We're all human. We're not superhuman.
And actually that feeling of anxiety and sickness, you know, when you have that thing when something's like upset you, that's often coming from resisting it and trying to put it in a box. Like sometimes there isn't a box big enough. Like you've just got to let it out. I lost my granddad a couple of months ago, and you don't remember like crying, just be something silly, wouldn't it? And you start crying, and Caleb's like, why is the water coming out your eyes again? And part of that was my fault, because for 4 or 5 years I didn't cry in front of him because I didn't want him to be upset that Mummy was upset. And actually what I've realised is now when I cry, he really gets a bit panicky because he's like, what's going on? And then I had to sit and say to him, Mummy's crying, like Granddad's gone. And he's like, yeah, but he's in heaven. It's a happy thing. I'm like, yeah, and I'm really happy that God gets him. But right now I'm missing him. And I didn't get to say goodbye to him. So Mummy's just sad, but that's okay to be sad. So I've kind of had to reframe that with Caleb from trying to be strong and not cry.
Yeah.
It's actually backfired because now he worries. And I'm like, I don't want you to worry.
But we do that I did the same with Holly. Like Holly rarely cries because she didn't see me doing it, and then she's 22. So Mel's just saying she had an aha moment, feelings are okay.
They're more than okay, they're healthy. They're good, they're healthy.
Yeah. And then Wendy will just chop our faces off. I used to only let the pretty colours in. My daughter, mental health problems happened for me, so making me cry for the first time in years because I felt so powerless. She has taught me how to be much more reflective and kind, but it's tough at times. Everywhere else I bounce back like a tiger. Yes.
So you're saying you love the analogy of the rainbow of emotions, Wendy, and feeling all of them. Good.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Good.
Melson, I'm enjoying my feelings now. They're welcome because they can't hurt me. Only my actions can hurt me. Yes, my feelings are teaching me about myself. Your feelings are a barometer of what's going on in your mind and your subconscious mind, right? So
absolutely.
Feelings are telling you what your thoughts are saying. And
Yeah.
if you want the better actions if you want better results in life, you need to tune into your thoughts. So listen to your feelings because they're telling you what your thoughts are doing. It's easier to be aware of your feelings than it is of your thoughts.
Yeah. Feel the feels. This is a life lesson for today. Feel the
feels. Feel the feels and be in the feels and work out what
Embrace
it's
the
telling you.
feels.
Embrace the rainbow of emotions that is life, that is learning. How do you feel today now, guys? Do you feel therapized?
I mean, we do, but it's not about us.
Leah's just saying, me and Oliver cried together last week because he asked what would happen if our dog is really old. I don't sugarcoat those things. No, and it's, again, from a child psychology perspective, very, very important. That's how they often experience their death, is through the death of pets. So again, it's really important that we're honest about that too.
Love it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks
for being so interactive.
Jump over to the soul system in a minute and just share in there what your ahas have been on here today, like on the thread in there, because it's great to see all of the learning together, because a lot of people will watch this later on. So it's great that we have them on the comments here, but make sure you jump in the soul system. And yes, we've got the big goal creator for you again today. We've got something different for you tomorrow, so you must tune in tomorrow. We've got an amazing, amazing gift for you tomorrow. But yeah, the big goal creator, I want you to take it today, because again, last day of the first half of the year, do some work around reflecting on what you want to create for the rest of the year, and use the reflections document at the back to help you unlock what some of those feels are that perhaps you've been bottling up.
Feel the feels. I'm going to put it in here.
The lid. Feel the feels. Let's lift the lid.
Well therapized. Yes, Wendy. But
Good.
Wendy and I have very similar traits. Very similar traits. So I used to literally, sorry, I know it's time to go, but I used to literally say to people at work, build a bridge and get the fuck over it. Actually,
more alarming than that. I used to say to you, how do you feel? And you go, there's no point asking, I've told you I don't feel things. You used to say that to us, and I go, everybody feels things, and you go, no, just because you process like that doesn't mean I do. And I was like,
no, because I didn't.
But you didn't.
That's the thing, I didn't.
But you weren't tuned into them. Everyone has the feelings. It's just whether or not you're tuning into them.
I was blocking them off. I blocked them off from the neck downwards. There you go.
We removed the block and Niagara Falls, baby. Fugly. So yes, make sure you tune in tomorrow. We've got an amazing, amazing free resource coming up for you that we will be announcing here tomorrow.
And then we're talking about, are you blending in?
Are you blending in or standing out? Are you vanilla or chocolate pistachio mint with a sprinkle of 1,000 colour things, a squirt of monkey stuff?
Have a fabulous Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.